only in Portugal.
16th string fact and surprising. What's it? Taboo?
You don't know what a taboo? A taboo is like things that like don't talk about, like religion, like politics, like topic that like
Is that German word?
a German word.
Oh, that kaput.
No, taboo is not kaput. Let's go.
Let's get started.
By See Through YouTube channel. Yeah.
Portugal is a small country with a significant impact. Did you know that Portugal introduced the world to the delectable delight of barbecued chicken, the rich flavors of port wine, and the unstoppable force of Cristiano Ronaldo? But that's just the beginning of the surprises this nation holds. Despite its size, Portugal stands tall in history and innovation. From paving the way for explorers during the age of
They built a ship as a rock. I never saw this before. I don't even know where that is.
discovery to its modern-day contributions in technology and culture, Portugal is full of surprises. Stay tuned to cover fascinating facts about
is
this
this?
charming Iberian nation that will
Yeah.
amaze you. Number 1. One of the oldest nations in Europe. Did you know that Portugal holds the title of the oldest nation-state in Europe? Established in 1143, Portugal's borders were set in the mid-13th century, making it not only ancient in European terms but also among the world's oldest nations. From as early as
so it's
1450
been
European terms, but
so Portugal has been this for like almost 700, more than 700 years. Because other country, why they keep changing the shape, the border, but Portugal has been this for all that long. Never like change.
also among the world's oldest nations. From as early as 1415, Portugal embarked on an ambitious journey of exploration and expansion. They spread their language and culture to 5 continents, extending their territories to the Azores and Madeira archipelagos, and even establishing colonies in Africa, East Timor, and India. In the 18th century, the Marquis de Pombal spearheaded educational reforms, laying the groundwork for a network of public primary schools across the country. However, the turbulent 19th century saw Portugal grappling with economic crises and political instability, hindering further progress in education. Fast forward to the 20th century, where Portugal saw shifts in power from monarchy to dictatorship. Antonio de Oliveira Salazar's regime
Yeah, when we reacted to the guy yesterday, right? Remember the guy that was, what's his name again? He has nice clothing style. Antonio Variacos. When you reacted to him, people were talking about his song and how like we're describing the fascist dictatorial regime in Portugal, because Portugal had a like very bad like leader too. They were doing a lot of bad things.
lasting until 1974, prioritized control over education, resulting in a lag behind European standards. But change was on the horizon. The
I didn't
carnation-
know that. I know, like, you know about Italy because of World War II, right? But Portugal was not like seen as some. I didn't know such a bad history, like when it comes to their regime in Portugal.
Scare.
Revolution of 1974 brought an end to dictatorship, paving the way for democracy and educational reform. Today, Portugal stands as a modern democratic state with a strong focus on education and cultural ties. By becoming a member of the European Economic Community in 1986 and adopting the euro in 1999, they achieved significant milestones toward their goal of global integration. These bold steps have helped them collaborate with other nations and have opened doors to new opportunities for Portugal. Speaking of global connections, Portugal's commitment to its Portuguese-speaking counterparts led to the formation of the Community of Portuguese Language Countries, CPLP, fostering cultural and economic ties across borders. As we move forward, Portugal continues to invest in education with a focus on building a knowledge-based economy and reducing early school leaving rates.
Oh,
Number
what is
2,
that?
Lisbon's catastrophic earthquake tragedy. On the morning of November 1st, 1755, the city of Lisbon was rocked by a series of earthquakes. Buildings crumbled, streets cracked, and panic swept
Wait, that was 250 years ago, more than that. Let's see.
through the population like wildfire. But what makes this event stand out amongst all others in history? Well, brace yourselves, because Lisbon suffered one of the world's largest natural disasters ever recorded.
Whoa.
As the earth trembled beneath their feet, over 60,000 souls lost their lives in Lisbon alone. Can you imagine the sheer terror of being caught in such chaos? It wasn't just
60,000 people. It's comparable to the one in Turkey, right? A few years ago? Something like this.
Just the initial tremors that brought destruction. The quake triggered something far more sinister, a tsunami.
Oh.
The trembling earth gave birth to towering waves, some reaching a staggering 65 feet in height. These walls of water crashed upon the shores of Lisbon and beyond, leaving devastation in their wake. But the reach of this catastrophe didn't stop there. The waves traveled across the vast expanse of the Atlantic Ocean, reaching as far as the Caribbean Sea.
Whoa.
Can you imagine the shock of witnessing such a relentless force of nature thousands of miles away from its epicenter? In the aftermath, the city lay in ruins, its once bustling streets now silent. But amidst the rubble, a resilience emerged. The people of Lisbon, like phoenixes rising from the ashes, began to rebuild their shattered lives. Today, as we walk through the vibrant streets of Lisbon, it's easy to forget the trials of the past. But let's not forget the lessons it taught us. The Lisbon earthquake of 1755 remains a poignant reminder of the fragility of life and the awesome power of nature.
Damn, but 1755,
Yeah,
there not a lot of technology to
you're right.
no electricity, no warning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The fact that they lose on, well, I want to say only 60s because the one in Turkey, they lost that 60, right?
Mm.
And it's much more advanced in 2025.
Yeah.
So, but maybe like Lisbon is it elevated, kind of? I don't know. Like, well, you need to remember, 60,000 back then,
A lot.
there was a lot less people on the planet. So it was a lot for that time. I forgot almost that about that.
Number 3. The maximum prison sentence is 25 years. Did you know that in Portugal, the maximum prison sentence is capped at 25 years? According
There's a lot of country like this, like Sweden, Finland, Norway, Denmark. But I don't know what they're gonna say, but it's true that it's 25, but that doesn't necessarily mean that the person will be allowed to get out.
Under the Portuguese penal code, no matter the severity of the crime,
Oh, okay.
the longest someone can be imprisoned is a quarter of a century. Now you might be thinking, but what if someone commits multiple serious crimes? Well, even in the case of multiple offenses, such as homicides, the total combined sentence cannot exceed 25 years behind bars. Unlike some countries, Portugal has abolished the death penalty altogether, so you won't find any executions happening here. But why? What's the rationale behind these laws? Well, Portugal places a strong emphasis on rehabilitation and the belief in
I'm sure that this is wrong because I remember that even in country like Norway, that's in Sweden, right? If there's a mass murderer and someone is in prison and someone is really, there's no chance that this person will be a good person, they're not going to put them out. It makes no sense after 25 years that you would release a serial killer back to the society that you know that person is a danger. I feel like there's something that he's not telling us here about that.
the potential for individuals to change. Instead of locking people away for life or resorting to capital punishment, the focus is on reforming offenders and reintegrating them into society.
Because you cannot, like, not everyone is you're going to be able to save their soul. Like, some people are beyond, are like, they're psychopath. They commit, like, they kill 50 people. You're not going to be able to put them back in society. It's not going to work.
Yeah, it's unfair though.
Well, it's
for
not-
the life who die.
Yeah, but yeah, but they believe in rehabilitation. The problem is that some people, you cannot save them. There's nothing to do with them.
I mean, I cannot live in the country like that.
Why?
I'm gonna. Damn, that mean I have that. What is it?
What?
I'm mad.
Yeah.
But in Thailand too, we release the prisoners so quick.
Wait, in Thailand you have a rough sentence. You can go to
But-
jail for the most stupidest thing in the universe.
But you need to know a but. I'm not gonna talk about it.
Or the pardon. That's what you mean, right? Like the king can like decide that you get out. Like
No, I'm not
whatever.
talking about that. Like money thing.
Oh yeah, if you have money, you can
Yes.
get your free out of jail card. Yeah, yes, I know what you mean.
Like, I mean, you can pay for that lawyer. You can pay
Yeah,
for
bribery,
that thing. Blah blah
yeah.
blah. That why rich people always escape.
Yeah. It's true in America too, to be honest.
a fascinating aspect of Portuguese culture and the justice system, wouldn't you agree? It's a testament to the progressive values that shape the country.
All
Number 4,
drugs.
decriminalization of all drugs. Portugal has made history by becoming the first country in the world to decriminalize all drugs, including heavy hitters like methamphetamine and heroin.
Okay,
But wait, what does decriminalization really mean? Well, it doesn't mean that drugs are suddenly legal and freely available on every street corner. Instead, it means that drug possession for personal use is no longer considered a criminal offense. Picture this. You're caught with a small amount of a controlled substance. Instead of facing jail time, you're now redirected towards treatment and support services.
This was Thailand trying to do.
Yeah, but
Seems like it doesn't work.
the law
It worse.
the law in Asia are so harsh.
Yes.
Like I saw a news like a few months ago. I cannot believe a foreigner was like smoking cannabis in Thailand or something. Then he took the plane. He went to Singapore, and they tested him, and he went to jail because he was smelling the cannabis. He had cannabis in his system, even though he never took it in Singapore. He took it in Thailand, and then he took a plane, and he got arrested in Singapore because it was in his system when he was in Singapore, and he was thrown in jail. Asia have very strong like drug policy. Even Thailand, to be honest, you can go to jail for like cannabis is legal right now, but you can
Or they bring it back to be illegal?
no, I think it's gonna be legal. But what are you gonna say that Thailand tried this?
The drug. Like,
To legalize everything and to
Like-
they force people to go to the doctor or something
yeah, like if you have less than 5, pill?
or something. Yeah.
Thing like that, you are not a prisoner, but you are a patient, thing like that. But it doesn't work.
Yeah.
It really don't work because a kid, you cannot control them too.
You mean teenager and things
Teenagers like 10 years old sometimes, like it's crazy. So we really cannot do that. Like I don't know why. Sometimes we follow the Western country too much, but we did not see ourselves that we're not ready for that.
Because these hard drugs like heroin, it's not like cannabis.
Yeah.
Those heroin, you cannot just take heroin like, oh, you're going to take heroin like a Monday and then only the next Sunday you're going to take it. It's not like this. It's so addictive and it's like, it's not good for you no matter what. Cannabis has some good effect, but this is weird.
Back in the 90s, Portugal was grappling with a severe drug epidemic and a surge in HIV cases. Traditional approaches...
But I understand because it's like, if someone only hurt himself with the drugs, why put them in jail for that?
They hurt their mom.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? It's not like they're not a danger to the society unless they commit a crime against someone else.
They're danger.
Well, you take heroin in your home and you don't bother anyone. They're gonna, instead of putting you in jail, they're gonna send you to a place to have therapy. It's kind of different, right?
Yeah, but like in Thailand, right? Because a lot of poor people had that. Then when they don't have money, they're gonna force their family. I saw one case that the mom, because the police didn't take him, right? The mom had to build a cage. Just put herself, didn't even put her son, like, put herself in that cage because her son gonna kill her.
Yeah,
Thing like that.
because some of those drugs, you can hallucinate and things like this. Yeah, no, I understand. I think it's tricky. It's like people with mental illness. If you put them in jail, you don't help them at all. Sometimes they will commit small crime.
Yeah.
to drug control, like harsh penalties and incarceration, were simply not working. The government realized that they needed a radical shift in strategy. By decriminalizing drug use, Portugal aimed to reduce the stigma associated with addiction, encourage people to seek help without fear of legal repercussions, and focus law enforcement efforts on tackling drug trafficking networks. And guess what? It worked. Today, Portugal has some of the lowest drug usage rates in the European Union. Yes, you heard that right. Despite initial skepticism, this innovative approach has proven to be a resounding success.
I have to check.
It's not about turning a blind eye to drug use, but rather about treating it as a public health issue rather than a criminal one. Now, you might be wondering, does this mean Portugal is a free-for-all when it comes to drugs? Absolutely not. Drug trafficking remains a serious criminal offense, and law enforcement agencies continue to crack down on illicit drug networks.
Do they say where you buy it? Do you buy everything at the pharmacy? I don't think that makes sense to buy heroin at the pharmacy, right?
Yeah.
Like in Canada, you can buy the cannabis at the pharmacy because it's legal. But if it decriminalized, where do you get it?
From the drug dealer.
Like, where do people get it in Portugal? I think I did not explain this.
It's all about finding the right balance between compassion and accountability. Number 5, first country to abolish slavery. When we think about the history of slavery, Portugal isn't usually the first country that comes to mind. Portugal was actually deeply involved in the transatlantic slave trade, much like Britain and other European powers of the time. However, in 1819, Portugal did something truly remarkable. They abolished slavery. That's a whopping 14 years before Britain. Now, isn't that something?
Well, as someone who's progressive, I just want to say, we live in a capitalist world. In capitalism, you work, you're kind of slave to your labor, you don't have any control in the mean of production, you're kind of a slave in the work market.
No, but it's better though.
I know what you mean by slavery. I just think that slavery is not really dead anywhere in this earth.
It's dead here.
Well, when you have people that work for $10 an hour and they cannot feed their family and they have debt and they own student loan and this and that, you're kind of slave to like the society that you're in.
Yeah, but
you
at
know?
least, sometimes when you compare that to like a really real slave, like from 200 years ago
I
or
know,
whatever,
but
that's crazy.
You're kind of
They're even worse than a dog.
you're kind of chained. You don't have a lot of liberty. That's what I mean a little bit like with that.
You might be wondering, why did Portugal decide to abolish slavery so early? Well, there were a few factors at play. Firstly, there was growing pressure from other European nations to end the slave trade. Portugal, being a global player, wanted to maintain its reputation and avoid potential conflicts with other powers. Additionally, there were internal movements within Portugal advocating for the abolition of slavery, fueled by moral and ethical considerations. Portugal didn't just stop at abolishing slavery within its own borders, they took it a step further by actively working to suppress the slave trade in their colonies. This meant cracking down on illegal slave ships and actively enforcing anti-slavery laws in regions under Portuguese control. It was a bold move that set Portugal apart from other colonial powers of the time. Number 6. Portugal and Spain once divided up the world. You might have heard the myth that Portugal conquered half the world, but here's the truth. While Portugal and Spain didn't conquer half the world, they did something quite extraordinary. Back in 1494, they signed a significant agreement known as the Treaty of Tordesillas.
Before you said it, is it the one where in South America they divided all of these countries left, right, and what is on the right was Brazil, and it went to Portugal, and everything on the left went to Spain? I think is that what you
This
mean?
treaty, approved by the Vatican, was a big deal. It was like drawing a giant line across the globe, dividing up the navigational and colonial rights between these two seafaring nations. Picture this: diplomats sitting around a table debating where to draw this line. Eventually, they settled on one approximately along the 25 degrees west meridian, which is roughly smack dab between Cape Verde and Cuba. So, what did this line mean? Well, it was supposed to be like a boundary separating Portugal's sphere of influence from Spain's. Portugal got one side, and Spain got the other. Neat and tidy, right? While Portugal and Spain were busy patting themselves on the back for this agreement, other countries weren't exactly lining up to congratulate them. Nope. Countries like England and the Netherlands, notably Protestant nations, basically shrugged and said, "Hey, we'll do our own thing." Yep, while Portugal and Spain were carving up the world on paper, other emerging naval powers were out there doing their own exploring and colonizing. So, while the Treaty of Tordesillas was a big deal for Portugal and Spain, it didn't really mean much to everyone else. Number 7, the longest dictatorship in Europe.
Wow.
Portugal holds a unique record in Europe. The longest-lasting dictatorship, lasting a staggering 48 years from 1926 to 1974. This period was dominated by the rule of Antonio de Oliva Salazar, a figure
Yeah, think about it. It even continued after the World War II. It's crazy.
whose influence shaped the country for decades. Salazar's rule was marked by a staunch nationalistic conservatism, heavily influenced by Catholicism. Under his leadership, Portugal saw the rise of what's known as the Estado Novo, or the new state. The dictatorship in Portugal unfolded in three distinct phases. It began as a military dictatorship known as Dadu Militar from 1926 to 1928. This phase was characterized by the military's grip on power. Then came the national dictatorship, or Dadu Nacional, lasting from 1928 to 1933. During this period, Salazar consolidated his power and implemented his vision for Portugal. Finally, we have the Estado Novo, from 1933 to 1974, the longest and most enduring phase of the dictatorship.
Oh.
This era saw Portugal under Salazar's iron grip, with strict censorship and limited political freedoms.
Wow.
But as they say, all good, or in this case, not so good things must come to an end. And so it did with
When we think of Portugal, we never think of that.
Yeah.
Because Portugal right now, it's like a country where everything seems peaceful and everything. Like you would not think that it was so bad like
Been too
50
many
years
things.
ago, right? That it ended.
Yeah, that's quite long.
Well, 50 years is nothing, right? It means that some people that watch us that are 70 years old were still 20 years old when it finished. So they still remember. Some people watching.
remarkable event known as the Carnation
but
Revolution
The
on
people who lived during that time is feel long.
Long time ago? Yeah.
April 25, 1974. This peaceful uprising, symbolized by the distribution
that
of
flower?
carnations among the people and soldiers, marked the end of the dictatorship.
Freedom Day coming.
Every year on April 25th, Portugal celebrates Freedom Day, or Dia de Liberdade, commemorating
Dia
the
de
country's
Liberdade.
transition to democracy. It's a reminder of the resilience of the Portuguese people and their journey towards freedom and democracy. Number 8, Portugal introduced tea to England.
Wait, so breakfast tea, is it Portuguese? You know, in Thailand they sell that breakfast tea from England
Yeah.
and those things. Is it Portuguese, that tea?
Our story begins in 1662 when Catherine of Braganza, a Portuguese princess, married Charles II of England. Little did the English know they were about to welcome more than just royalty into their lives. Catherine brought with her a beloved beverage from Portugal, tea. Now, tea wasn't entirely unknown in England at the time, but it was Catherine's fondness for this aromatic infusion that truly sparked a revolution. Coming from a culture where tea was a staple, Catherine introduced it to the English court, and it quickly became the talk of the town. Imagine the scene, ladies in extravagant gowns delicately sipping tea, discussing the latest gossip and politics. Catherine's influence was undeniable, and soon tea became more than just a beverage. It became a symbol of elegance and sophistication. But Catherine's impact didn't stop there. Her love for tea spread like wildfire, captivating not only the elite but also the common folk. It wasn't long before tea houses popped up across England, offering everyone a taste of this newfound luxury.
Wow.
Number 9. A staggering number of Portuguese live abroad. Did you know that Portugal holds the title for the highest immigration rate in the European Union?
I mean,
Oh.
Brazil have so many people. Like, it's crazy.
2 million Portuguese citizens, which is roughly 20% of the entire population, have decided to call other countries home. That's a mass.
Okay, no, but this is different. They are born in Portugal. 2 million, 20% decided to live somewhere else. Is it that bad? Where is that? Is it for work? Where is it?
Massive number, isn't it? But why are so many Portuguese leaving their homeland? Well, it's all about seeking better opportunities. Between 2011 and 2014 alone, nearly 500,000 Portuguese workers waved goodbye to Portugal in pursuit of a brighter future elsewhere.
Wow.
One such destination that has become a significant hub for the Portuguese diaspora is Luxembourg. In 2021, this tiny
Well, I think that Luxembourg, like, average salary is like $80,000. It's so much money. It's like Switzerland.
Luxembourg. Is this a small country?
Very, very small, yes.
What are you doing?
I think Luxembourg, Switzerland, they are very rich. It's a small country.
But I mean, why they need more people to work in that country?
Well, why not? They don't have a lot of people. The people looking for work, they go from Portugal to there.
What are they doing?
Oh, what work? I don't know.
yet prosperous country hosted close to 100,000 Portuguese residents. which is a whopping 14.5% of Luxembourg's entire population. More than 2 million Portuguese citizens now reside abroad, but here's the kicker. If we include the descendants of these immigrants, the total population with Portuguese origins in host countries balloons to over 5 million. That's a staggering 40% of the population residing in Portugal itself. It's a testament to the dynamic and resilient nature of the Portuguese people. Despite leaving their homeland, they've made their mark around the world, contributing to the rich tapestry of global culture and society.
Ooh.
Number 10. Portugal is famous for its tiles. Portuguese tiles, known as azulejos, are not just your average
Well,
ceramic
it's different, right? Because if you live in Portugal, you relocate in Luxembourg, you can go to Portugal vacation a lot, and it's very close. You don't need to go all around the world to come back, you know? It's not like when someone from Thailand go to work in America, it's like 20 hours flight, you know, and it's so expensive. It's not
Yeah.
expensive to go from Portugal to Luxembourg, you know?
squares. Oh no, they are an integral part of Portugal's history and culture, dating back to the 13th century. These stunning tiles were first introduced by the Arabs during their invasion, but it wasn't until the time of King D. Manuel I that they truly made their mark. Legend has it that King D. Manuel I was so captivated by the brilliance of Seville's tiles that he imported them to adorn his palace walls, thus igniting Portugal's love affair with azulejos. And boy, did they become popular. Almost every building in Portugal boasts these intricate designs, each telling its own unique story. Now you might be wondering about the striking blue and white combination that dominates Portuguese tiles. Well, during the Age of Discoveries, these colors were all the rage, associated with wealth and power. They became synonymous with Portugal's maritime prowess, influenced by Oriental porcelain and Dutch aesthetics. These tiles became a hallmark of Portuguese architecture, crafted with precision and care. Portuguese tiles undergo a meticulous process from shaping and painting to glazing and baking. Each tile is a work of art in itself. To preserve this rich tradition, Portugal even boasts its own dedicated museum, the National Tile Museum in Lisbon. Initially confined to the interiors of wealthy homes and religious institutions, these tiles eventually found their way onto the facades of buildings, transforming Portugal's urban landscape. Whether adorning a humble
Wait, where is that come from? Mosaic?
You mean mosaic?
Oh yeah.
I don't know. You're talking about a tile, like more like the tile. Like the rectangular that you put on the rectangular that you put on the it's called the wall. We have not seen that in another video up close like this.
Yeah.
Maybe we should react to a video like this.
abode or a majestic cathedral, each tile tells a story, reflecting the creativity and craftsmanship of its creators. So there you have it, folks. From humble beginnings to intricate masterpieces, these tiles have truly stood the test of time. The next time you find yourself strolling through the streets of Portugal, take a moment to admire the
It's a video about everything.
It's really interesting. Didn't even know that they've been in the under the dictatorship for a long time like that. Because all I know is always like about history, thing like that, you know.
Yeah,
And
about
after that, like not really heard of the Portugal country that much, like what they are doing.
well, sending the food to Thailand.
Yeah, thank you for the chili.
Okay, our dog are going crazy, guys. I need to stop the video.